never really good at anything, and as soon as I started playing music, I started winning. I don't write songs to be successful. I write songs out of like therapeutic reasons. I just won't say who it's about because it's quite a negative song. Everyone knows anyway. I was ready to scrap the album and not really make music again. I just came really disenchanted with the music industry. Hi, I'm Ed Sheeran, and this is my story. I was never really good at anything as a kid apart from music, so I would always win with music. I'd never win in sport, I'd never win in academics, I'd never win with anything with my brother. Like, he'd always be like the better one, and out of all my friends, they'd always be the better ones. And as soon as I started playing music, I started winning. I don't remember like first realizing if I could sing or not. I guess because I started singing before, I couldn't really remember. But I know I started because my brother did, and I wanted to be like him. But then I started taking it more seriously when I got to high school and you know, started playing guitar and covering songs and stuff like that. I started writing songs first by looking at DVDs on the shelf and picking a title and then writing a song about that title. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I realised in school that academics was not my thing, and that music was. And I wasn't like the best musician or the best singer or the best songwriter, but I knew that if I put all my time and effort into just that, I could become good. So yeah, I quit school and moved and just started playing every day. And I soon realised moving out of school that the best thing for me to do was to just play shows every day and write songs, because I just immersed myself in it. My ambitions when I first left home was always to kind of get up to a level where I could tour healthily in England and release records and sell sort of like 5,000 to 10,000 records and sell venues that were sort of 500 to 1,000 capacity. Because you can make a very decent living doing that, and that's where most people end up from my genre. That's like a good peak point. So that was like the end goal. So many artists have a buzz and then they get signed and then they go away for 2 years to make an album and then they come back out and the buzz isn't there. And I wanted to just, as soon as I get signed, have the ball rolling. So A-Team ended up being the first single because it was the only song that had a music video. And yeah, I guess it worked out. Lights gone, days end, struggling to pay rent. I was 18 and I moved out of home at 16 and I moved to London and I did some volunteer work at a homeless shelter, and it was written about a woman that I met there and her story. And she don't wanna go outside tonight, and in a pipe she flies to the motherland or sells love to another man. It's too cold. When you're 16 and you move to London, you're kind of sofa surfing, you haven't really got a lot of money and you're kind of doing my thing, kind of gigging about. You kind of get it mentality of, yeah, I've got it hard, but you know, I'm working through it. And when I went to go and volunteer at the shelter at 18, I'd never really seen the dark underbelly of London before, and it just really put everything in perspective, and you just realise how lucky you are to have a roof over your head every night. Loose change, banknotes, weary-eyed, dry throat, cool girl, no phone. With homeless people, the public just want to kind of ignore it, and they think it's their fault that they're there. But speaking to a large amount of the people there, it's all come from them being in very bad situations rather than them actually wanting to be in that situation. I don't think anyone wants to have that. So I was just a bit shocked, and I wrote a song about it. The most surprising thing for me is having that as a pop hit in America and it being about a prostitute. And the weird thing as well is how people have connected with it, because obviously you can't really relate to that unless you've been in that situation. I think A-Team's a song that broke down the doors commercially for me worldwide, so yeah, I am proud of it. But it's not the song I'm proudest of. It's just one of the many dominoes that had to fall for me to get here. I don't really know why that first record was big. I think, you know, music runs in cycles, and the last singer-songwriter to be really big was James Blunt, and then indie music came in a big way, and then rap music came in a big way, and like, I was the next singer-songwriter to come out 5 years later, so I think it just hit a right point at a right time, which allowed radio to really get behind it and TV to really get behind it, and And the fan base kind of grew and grew and grew from that.
In the pipe, fly to the motherland, or sell off to another man. It's too cold outside.
I book festivals in January, and then by the time it would get to the festival, the tent would be shut down because there'd be too many people trying to get into it. Like, it reached a kind of weird fever pitch just before the album came out. I think it just happens once in a while to certain acts. It was, yeah, it was interesting.
Angels to die.
Multiply was meant to take everything I did with Plus and multiply it by 2. And it weirdly enough did, you know. The first album sold 5 million copies and this album sold 10 million copies, and like the radio spins have got, it's weird. Lego was important in my childhood to be creative. It was weird because I was a very creative kid, but now when I play Lego, I have to follow the rules. I'm Will Ferrell in the film all the way. Like, and if you don't follow the rules, like, I'm not happy about it.
There's one thing on my mind.
I think if you're a parent and you encourage your kid to be creative, that's always a good thing. It kind of broadens the mind. With anything, you can get the finger paint or like. Remember we used to like have pizzas, and you just have a pizza base, and then you put the tomato on, and then you put the cheese, and then you use different things to make stuff. You can make like a pirate ship out of cheese on a pizza, and then put that in, and like stuff like that to be creative. Like that's good to.
I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up.
The idea for the music video for Lego House came about because lots of people say I look like Ron Weasley, so I thought I'd poke fun at that and get Rupert Grint to play me in my video. So I reached out to Tom Felton, who I knew, who plays Draco Malfoy from the films, and he got in touch with Rupert. And Rupert said yes. I think some of his family were a fan of me before, which kind of helped out, I think. And he was really fun to work with, really professional, really chilled out, and it was freaky to see me in the same clothes as him because he really does look like me and I do look like him.
I think I love you better now. I'm out of touch, I'm out of love. I'll pick you up when you're getting down. And out of all these things I've done, I will love you better now.
I'll listen all the time to the new songs that I'm making and kind of like nitpick them and change bits, but like once something's released, I never really listen to it again. Like, I haven't really listened to Multiply since probably a week before it came out, and the same with Plus, and the same with most of the EPs. Actually, no, I did hear some of the old EPs. I was in I was in Spain with all my mates, and we went to a gin bar and started drinking gin, and the barman came up and was kind of like, ah! And I was like, you're right, and he went, music! And I was like, yeah, music, but what he was asking is, do you want to hear your own music rather than you play music? So he put on his Spotify playlist of like 100 of my tunes, and my first girlfriend, who I was with for like 4 years, who all of the first songs were based on, was on holiday with us as well, so she was just kind of there like, yep. So it was just very, very awkward, and we didn't know how to tell him that it wasn't cool, like, because he was just kind of kept coming up and being like, ah, and we were like, yeah, cheers, mate. There were just loads of people that I looked up to that had smashed England that hadn't got to America, so I really wanted to prove that I could do it, and yeah, that was why I came here and just tried.
Everything has changed.
Having an endorsement like Taylor Swift in America will help anyone. I think she's, you know, Miss America. There's no one really bigger than her in America, and if she says she likes anything, people kind of take notice of it. So to be able to tour with her for 6 months really helped. It was weird, because I remember taking on the tour and thinking that it would really help my record sales going on the tour, and by the end of the tour, the record hadn't really moved at all, and I was kind of thinking like, oh man, what, like, did that tour help? Did it blah, 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 blah? And then by the time the next tour went on sale, the tickets just sold out like that. So I realized going on tour with Taylor wasn't necessarily about selling records, it was about becoming a household name over the course of 6 months, and then being able to build up a big live kind of fan base. So yeah, it definitely helped, but it helped in a way that I didn't expect. The album wouldn't have existed if Rick hadn't have been involved. I was ready to scrap the album and not really make music again. Yeah, I just came really disenchanted with the music industry, and I just didn't like how the album was going and where my career was going. and then Rick got involved.
He's just a very passionate guy about music, and he'll tell you if the idea is good or if it's bad, and he A/Bs everything. So this one time we were in New York and he wanted pizza, and he ordered every single ham and pineapple pizza in a 6-mile radius. So 40 pizzas turn up. He takes a bite of one, spits it out, bite of another, spits it out, bite. He tasted every single one and he was like, that one's the best, let's order that one. And then we had it. But he's like that in the studio. He will be like, right, cool. Bass lines, let's try this bass line. No, it doesn't work, let's try a different sound. Let's listen to them together, both of them don't work. Let's try that sound with this sound. Does it work? No, this one works. And like, he'll basically A/B everything and find the best sound. It's a genius idea.
Sitting down with Rick for sort of 2 months and having him being Zen master definitely helped me out as a human being, as well as a musician, as well as that album. So Rick made the album happen in the end.
It's late in the evening, lost on the side. I've been sad with you for most of the night.
Having Sig as the first single was never my idea, and I had to kind of be pressured into that. But it definitely worked out for the best, and it did what everyone said it would do, which was throw people off and get people interested and talking about it.
This love is ablaze. I saw flames from the side of the stage, and the fire brigade comes in a couple of days. Until then, we got nothing to say and nothing to know, but something to drink and maybe something to smoke.
I don't think when you work with Pharrell, you can ever sound mainstream. And I know that's a weird thing to say because Pharrell produces so many hits, but Pharrell doesn't make stereotypical 1 + 1 = 2 hits. It's not fall to the floor dance shit. It's like quite weirdly structured jazz chords over some dance beats mixed with some falsetto here. It's not meant to fit, but it works. So I knew that going in with Pharrell wouldn't like commercialize me too much.
Can you feel it? All that I can hear is music from the back. Can you feel it? Found you hiding years ago.
It's quite weird how Multiply worked out, because Multiply was meant to take everything I did with Plus and multiply it by 2, because it's the second record. So all the venues were meant to double, and all the record sales were meant to double, and like all the radio spins were meant to double. And it weirdly enough did. You know, the first album sold 5 million copies, and this album sold 10 million copies, and like the radio spins have got. It's weird. I don't know what happened there. Whether it was just if you plan for something to happen and it just does. But yeah, Multiply definitely achieved what I wanted it to, but not what I thought it would. Don't Just a song that opened up a door that I probably shouldn't opened up. I just won't say who it's about is because it's quite a negative song. Everyone knows anyway. Don't Just a song that's a bit close to the bone and definitely opened up a door that I probably shouldn't opened up.
I met this girl late last year. She said, don't you worry if I disappear. I told her I'm not really looking for another mistake. I called an old friend thinking that the trouble would wait, but then I jumped right in. A week later returned. I reckon she was only looking for a lover to burn, but I gave
the person the heads up it was coming about, probably about 8 months before it even came out. I just won't say who it's about because, I mean, everyone knows anyway, but like, yeah, I just won't say who it's about is because it's quite a negative song.
I never intended to be next, but you didn't need to take him to bed, that's all. And I never saw him as a threat until you disappeared with him to have sex, of course.
The tabloid fodder's weird. They write about the wrong things, man. They'll kind of pick and choose what they write about. Not many people end up selling Wembley Stadium, and when I did that, no one really wrote about that. And then whenever I do anything with like a female or getting drunk somewhere, like that's always the first thing that people write about. And it's weird because I've grown to realise that tabloids really like to write about negative things. I don't agree with them. I don't write songs to be successful. I write songs out of like therapeutic reasons. So I want to write a song when I'm sad, and I don't really want to write a song when I'm happy. When I'm sad, I'm usually on my own and usually near an instrument and usually in a dark room, and that'll usually like bring out a sad song. But when I'm happy, I'm usually out with my mates and having a good time, and you're just not really thinking about writing songs when you're happy. So that's why you don't write many happy songs. But I am genuinely a happy guy because I get all the bad stuff out through the bad songs. So like now and then a song might come out when I'm happy, but that's not why I write songs.
when your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet.
The Thinking Out Loud video was a funny thing. Like, everyone takes credit for that now and says, oh, it's a wonderful idea, but no one at the label thought that was a good idea. One, to even have that as a single, and two, to let me dance in the video.
Darling, I will be loving you till we're 70.
My idea for the song was always to dance in the video, and they always said, oh no, we'll get another dancer in it, or like there was one idea at some point to have like a dance thing and then have a shootout over it and like just make it like a really complicated bullshit thing.
Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your head on my beating heart.
I never really want to star in my videos, and I don't look like a pop star, and I don't want to see me on TV. Like, and if I don't want to see me on TV, I know that everyone else doesn't want to see me on TV. So I pick and choose my moments to be in videos where I want it to make an impact, and the other ones I'll just make cameos. So like it made an impact when I went in Thinking Out Loud, because that was the first time anyone had seen me dance and anyone had seen me in like a full video. So like I really wanted to take the reins with that and make a video very simple that just showed me doing something that no one thought I could do. And to be honest, I couldn't do it. I did have to learn how to do it.
So baby, now take me.
I just wanted to make sure that the video went viral so more people heard the song, because I knew that people would share a video being like, oh, you can dance, like, and send it out to people. Yeah, so more people would hear the song.
Place your head on my beating heart.
Photograph was always the label's plan to be the big single, and no one thought Thinking Out Loud would do that. So Thinking Out Loud kind of overshadowed Photograph. But yeah, it's funny how like everyone that thought that was a bad idea now takes credit for it.
And we found love right where we are. So you can keep.
It takes a lot to make me cry, unless it's like Forrest Gump or something like that, and then that just gets me, man.
Loving can hurt. Loving can hurt sometimes, but it's the only.
Photograph was the first song that I wrote for Multiply that I knew would be on Multiply. Like, it was the first song that I wrote. I was like, this could be a hit.
When it gets hard, you know it can get hard.
The idea for the Photograph video just came at Christmas. My dad, as my Christmas present, had ripped all the old home footage onto DVDs and given it to me for Christmas. So it just came from me watching them with my mum, dad and brother at Christmas, and then asking my dad if I could do something with them. But originally I wanted to add them to a documentary that we were making, and then they asked me what we wanted to do for the Photograph video, and I thought that would be an amazing thing to go from kind of 0 to 24 or whatever.
So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me closer till our eyes meet. You won't ever be alone. Wait for me to come home.
I didn't get emotional watching it. I'm emotional in my music, but I'm quite a non-emotional person. It takes a lot to make me cry. Unless it's like Forrest Gump or something like that, and then that just gets me, man. But yeah, so I didn't, but I knew it got other people emotional, because I have a bodyguard that's a kind of a real tough man who doesn't really show any emotion, happiness or sadness. And we watched it in a hotel room in Rio, and then looking around and him having like teary-eyed, but not crying, but just teary-eyed, and I was like, yeah, this video is gonna work.
You hurt me. That's okay, baby.
I know that I have like a large fan base and I can play venues and sell records, but I kind of never see myself as a star, because you'll still get things like the VMA Awards recently where you're not asked to perform or go to, and then people that don't sell as much as you or as many tickets but are bigger celebrities will get to go and kind of be the big thing there. There's two things, there's musician and there's celebrity, and I don't think that I'm a celebrity yet, or whether I'm going to be. I think that I'm well known because of the music that I make, but I think I just need to do more things to make people talk about me, I guess. I don't know where I want to take my sound next. I'm kind of writing loads and loads of different songs, and they're all sounding very different. The next album at the moment sounds very schizophrenic, but that's kind of how Multiply started off. You just kind of do everything, and then at the last moment you bring it all together. But my main focus is always songs. You always have to make sure that songs are good.
Wait for me to come home.